Okay, good morning again, everyone. Nick Petro from the National Weather Service in Raleigh. And I wanted to take this opportunity this morning to basically just provide a little kind of start on what we think, what we know about Florence, what we don't know, and the opportunity to ask some questions if anybody there has any questions, and also to just take a glimpse at the weekend weather. I know there's a ton of outdoor activities this weekend. We've gotten a lot of calls from folks asking us, hey, can you keep track of this or that event and so on, and so we're happy to support the local emergency management capabilities and agencies out there with those requests. Busy weekend, so I didn't want anybody to be surprised on Monday, just in case there's any tropical products, or as we get a little closer, again, just wanted everybody to be aware of what could potentially happen next week. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started with this webinar. And so right now, Tropical Storm Florence is still way out in the Atlantic. Here's the official National Hurricane Center forecast that's valid or issued rather at 11 a.m. this morning. And certainly, if you look at that, it looks, fairly ominous for the Carolinas. Now, normally I might show those spaghetti tracks, but but in lieu of showing that, I'll just tell you that there are quite a bit of them that show Florence moving into the Carolinas later next week. But there are a lot of them that show still a recurvature east of Hatteras. So there's a great deal of uncertainty what happens after that very last, what happens to the center of the storm and the edge of that western edge of that cone after 8 a.m. Wednesday. But this is the current forecast from the National Hurricane Center for Florence. Here are some of the key messages, and this is written from by the National Hurricane Center, and you can see it there. Regardless of Florence's eventual track, regardless of the track, we're going to see along the Carolina coast large swells, okay, and life-threatening rip currents and dangerous surf, beginning this weekend. So if you know anybody that has plans to go down to the beach, just be careful. Heed the warnings from the lifeguards. And, if you're not a good swimmer or a weak swimmer, just stay out of the water, because Florence is going to send these dangerous swells and rip currents our way, or rip currents will happen as a result of those swells. So that'll continue. Conditions at the beach will be dangerous right through the weekend and all of next week. So just putting that out there. Now, the risk associated with Florence for other impacts on the East Coast has increased, again, due to that westward shift in the track. However, there's still very large uncertainty in the models of Florence beyond day 5, making it too soon to determine the exact location, magnitude, and timing of these impacts. So we all need to stay aware and closely keep track of all this. Now, the image in the lower right, let me show a larger version of this in the next slide. So what this slide depicts is the probability of tropical storm force winds. Okay, so you can see that, and this is obviously based on the current forecast track. So that would suggest that as the system moves further west, so will the risk for tropical storm, or even stronger, depending on the strength of the storm, winds as we head through, later next week. Now, overlaid on top of that is the earliest reasonable arrival time of tropical storm force winds. So this kind of gives you a sense of, okay, based on what you saw in the last slide, you might be wondering, okay, when does that happen? When does it get here? So, along the North Carolina coast, it could be as early Wednesday, when again, and if the track takes it further west and into the Carolinas, it could be as early as, and I want to underline as early as, because it could be later, as early as early Wednesday, where we could see tropical storm force winds, again, assuming the current forecast track. All right. So the key takeaway with this slide is, if, and I underline in bold the word if this becomes an issue for the Carolinas, we're looking at the middle to end of next week. So that's why I wanted to highlight that. Okay, so what should be the takeaways? What are 5 things you need to know right now? Okay, clearly, middle to end of next week, that's still 5, 6 days away. So clearly, of those, it's still too early to predict exactly where Florence will move. And then certainly, because of that slight westward shift, concern for at least some of the U.S. is growing. But again, it's still too early, to give any specifics. So what do we do between now and then? We prepare. You prepare like you would for the whole hurricane season. So, we are in the peak of the season here in September. So, folks should prepare. Now's the time. That's the message. That is our key message as we head into this weekend, is to, check your storm kit. Know your risks. Down in the lower left, figure out if you are in a location that is prone to flooding. Does your path to work move across places or drive through areas that are prone to flooding? These are all things that you want to determine now. So understand your risk, understand evacuation routes, understand and build your emergency plan. Have a plan for your pets too. Remember where you're at, for location on the map, so that when there's watches, warnings, advisories issued, if there are watches, warnings, advisories. You want to update your plans, build your emergency kit, your food supplies, your water supplies, your power supplies. Those are all the things that folks should be thinking about this weekend, okay? And you know what? If it doesn't happen, if it recurves, well, guess what? You've got that for the next hurricane, whenever the next hurricane might be, or even you have that even prepared for the winter season, for ice storms or snowstorms. So anyway, so that's the key message we are distributing right now, and we would like for you to help us share this message as well with your constituents. To now, we don't want to get panicked, but we want to prepare. So that's the key takeaway right here. I know some folks might ask, well, what's behind Florence? We know that there's been an increase of activity. Here's the 5-day tropical weather outlook. There is an area of disturbed weather, actually 2 of them, that moved off the west coast of Africa behind Florence. So clearly we're gonna keep an eye on those. If certainly, if we don't really have a good handle on where Florence's go, we're even going to have less of a handle on where the 2 behind it are going to go. But my key takeaway with this slide is we're in September. It's the peak of the season, and this is the time of the year when there should be increased activity. So again, that takes me back to the previous slide, which is make sure, if you haven't prepared already, that you do so now while the weather is good. So anyway, I just want to kind of remind folks the rest of my slides, and I'm sorry this is going on a little too long, but I think this is important to share, is just a little training and a reminder that inland offices will be issuing tropical products this year. Beginning with this season, dangerous high winds associated with tropical storms and hurricanes will be warned using tropical storm and hurricane watches and warnings rather than wind advisories and high wind warnings. So there you can see the definition of tropical storm watch and warning and hurricane watch and warning. And basically, 4 offices will be doing this. This is the Blacksburg office, the Raleigh office, the Columbia office, and the Greenville-Spartanburg offices. The offices you see highlighted in yellow will be implementing these changes. So with these changes come additional products. And at the top, those additional products are listed, including the Hurricane Local Statement, the Hurricane Local Watch Warning product, the Extreme Wind Warning, the Hurricane Threat and Impacts graphics, and after the storm is over, the Post-Tropical Cyclone Report. So then you might be wondering, well, how on earth do I get all these new products? And the way I'm going to demo that is via just sort of a live walkthrough of our webpage. So if you start at weather.gov, that's where I'm at right now, weather.gov. Easy to remember. And then you click on Central North Carolina. And once you click on Central North Carolina, that takes you to the National Weather Service Raleigh webpage. Then scroll down to where it says Tropical Weather right here. Let me highlight that so folks can see that. That's what you want to click on, that button right there. So let me close that here. And then once you click on that, that takes you to the new tropical webpage. Has all of those new products, and it's really easy to use. You're first presented with the tropical weather outlook with the text for that. You can click on the active storms to be taken to the current official National Hurricane Center forecast, If you scroll down on that page, you can see the wind speed probabilities and the time of arrival graphics. If you continue to scroll down, you can see the other tropical, storms or hurricanes or depressions that may be out there, and the products associated with that. And if there are any storm surge issues, watches, or warnings, you'll see them on that page. And again, you can continue to scroll down for rainfall and thunderstorm forecasts. Now, clearly, it's still a little too early to have information available as it relates to Florence, but heck, you can see what the day 3 rainfall is, and that addresses what the rainfall is on Monday, or what's the rainfall today, or the rainfall Saturday, or the rainfall Sunday, and so on. So there's links to river information. So and then if you scroll back up and then you click on threats and impacts, that takes you to our threats and impacts graphics for wind, storm surge, flooding, rain, and tornadoes. Nothing on here now, obviously, because there's no tropical storm or hurricanes, impacting us right now. Local products can be found on this local product tab, and then the drop down has all those local products. Moving to the right on the tabs, there's the satellite tab where you can get satellite imagery, and the radar tab allows you to see radar imagery. You can click on the social media link to see the messaging that we're doing. And please, I would ask you to feel free to share or retweet our Facebook and Twitter messages. That'll really help us get the information out to folks and to raise awareness. And finally, preparedness tab. How do I get prepared? There's everything you need to know here. There's educational materials, learning about storm surge or hurricane survival, how storms form, what to do. There's all kinds of information in English and Spanish, and some apps and information here that could be helpful down here at the bottom. So anyway, I wanted to highlight this webpage because this is the first year that National Weather Service Raleigh, Blacksburg, Greenville, Spartanburg, and Columbia are doing tropical products. And so now that webpage I just demoed is the way to get those products. Now, my next couple slides on my PowerPoint here basically just summarizes what I did in the live demo. I'm not going to go through these, but I will include them in the PDF so that you can review them on your own time later. So again, just a reminder, now's the time to prepare. It's too early to predict the exact track and the impacts, but just, remember the preparedness information. You can go to ready.gov to get more information about how to prepare, or go to our tropical page that I just shared and click the preparedness tab. So I haven't forgot about this weekend. I know we were going to talk about this weekend's weather. I'll get to that here in a minute. But I just wanted to mention we're going to do these webinars again. We'll do this type of webinar again tomorrow at 11:30. Use the same link. And then we'll begin twice-a-day webinars beginning Sunday, if needed. And then, you know what? If the storm recurves and it's not an issue for us, then we'll just cancel the webinars, and then we'll just do the Monday weekly briefing as we always do, again, using the same link. So what about this weekend's weather? Let me switch to a different tool here. Here is the current radar and satellite image, or I should say radar and temperatures, and you can see a large swath of rain over the Midwest and even some rain in the Mississippi Valley. Where's all that going to go? Let me just throw some model data on here to simulate this to get a sense. There's so many good models here that I could show you, but this is a radar simulation from one of our models that have been doing pretty good recently. And just let me step through this here. This is what the radar may look like for midday today, about 2 o'clock today. And you can see just very widely scattered spotty shower activity, nothing too impactful. That's 5 p.m. this afternoon. There's really not much other than just a few very spotty showers, if anything at all. Mostly dry the rest of today. No major issues. Hot and humid. That humidity isn't going to go away until we get a different air mass in here, and that's not foreseen for a while. What about tomorrow? I know a lot of folks have got plans for tomorrow. Here's 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Again, a few spotty showers up near the Virginia border. As we head through late morning hours, you could see again there's some thunderstorm or some spotty showers that are developing, perhaps expanding in coverage tomorrow morning. And then as we head through early afternoon Saturday, look how the number of thunderstorms begins to grow. So again, it's really going to be hit or miss. So just know that if you have an outdoor plan, this is not what I'm showing you here. This is not a rain out. This is not a rain out. Any place that sees a shower or maybe even a thunderstorm tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, it's just going to come and go. It ain't going to rain for any prolonged or extended period of time. Now, things might change, however, Saturday evening. Notice here are a band of thunderstorms up near the Virginia border here. This is Saturday evening. Now, those showers and thunderstorms will eventually sink south into and across central North Carolina tomorrow evening. So if you have outdoor events tomorrow evening, well, the chance for rain will be much higher tomorrow evening, Saturday evening, than it will be during the morning and afternoon Saturday. So as we continue to progress through, let's just take a quick look into Sunday. And for Sunday, it's the same thing. The morning should be mostly dry. And then as the afternoon progresses, we may see more of this activity here in Southern Virginia, perhaps sink a little bit south as we head through the day on Sunday. So with that, it's going to be hot. That'll continue. It'll be humid. And just a real quick look at the forecast, and you could see that if you're looking for some specifics on the actual numbers, here we go for Saturday. The chances for rain will be increasing as we head through the day, and then the best chance for rain will be Saturday night into Sunday, with that activity up in Virginia sinking south. Again, that's the way it's shaping up for this weekend. Again, we'll be doing these webinars again tomorrow, and then increasing the number of webinars as we head through and into next week. So that's what we've got for Central North Carolina.